Hi, and welcome to Family Meeting. We are glad that you are with us this week. We are talking about dropping our daughter off at college. So,
scoot on out of here. Time to kick them out of the nest.
Yeah, there was no kicking. There was more like...
You were kicking and screaming the whole way.
Yeah, that's where the kicking came in. But we're going to talk about this today, and I know many of you have already watched your birds leave the nest, and some of you are very tired. Some of you have, it's coming soon. You maybe have a senior in high school this year. You're doing all the things, the senior pictures and all that prep stuff, going for your scholarships and everything. So this is coming for you. And so hopefully some of this information is going to help you. But we do want to hear from you if you've gone through it before. I want to hear what everybody's dreading, because I know what I was dreading the whole way along. And I'm curious if you have certain things that you're afraid of, when crossing this season. So
I will say it was nice because she's going to school less than an hour away and still working here in town on the weekends. She can come home. And so we got to spend about half a day, all six of us together as a family day, grabbed coffee together, went to the beach, went by the pool. So
it was a good family day.
Yeah, we had a nice kind of half of a family day where all six of us could be together, but it's just not the same.
It feels like when we do get to be together as the six of us, it's so much more precious than it's ever felt before.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to get into this episode now, and we are excited to hear from you. So listen in and then share with us your thoughts and ideas. We want to hear from you too.
Do have a couple of events coming up. Going to be in Dallas, October 18th, Dallas area, at Levon Drive Baptist Church for their marriage conference. And then we're going to be a month later. We will be 2 days in Grapevine, Texas. I think that's November 13th and 14th at the National Small Groups Conference. I'm going to be doing a couple of breakout sessions there. So looking forward to a great time together. If you're in Texas, in that area, that Dallas area, we'd love to see you at one of those events. And it's kind of one of the things we enjoy doing, getting out and about and stepping out from behind the microphone and getting to meet our people out in the wild. So that's kind of fun. Yep. So make your plans to be with us. We'd love to be able to see you there. Any other little tidbits we need to pass along to all of our friends on YouTube? What do you think?
Can't think of anything else.
Okay, then let's gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The Family Meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. We're the Osterkamps. I'm Thomas, and this is my wife, Lysandra.
What up, yo? Oh, is that my line?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 259 of the Family Meeting Podcast. On today's episode, we're talking about dropping your child off at college. This is something that we just recently went through. We wanted to talk about it while it's fresh in our minds. And we also want to hear from those of you who have done this or are about to do this. But there are a lot of emotions that go with this. But we also want to talk about some of the practical things to think about as you go through this season. But basically what we really want to focus in on is dropping your kid off at college, letting go, trusting God, and now navigating the next season.
Before we jump into that, though, I don't know what it is the last couple of weeks. These different air quote studies have been coming across my social media feed. I don't know if they're real or not. I don't know. Care enough to actually look into it.
There's no fact check going on here.
No, but what I like about it is it stirs up a little bit of conversation to think about. Whether it's true or not, there's certain conversations that can be had. So this is the stat that I saw this week. I shared it in our Facebook community group, Family Meeting community group. And it says this. Women need 47 minutes of attention a day from their partner to be the most happy. What are your thoughts on that? 47 minutes a day.
Here is what I said. I commented on this post and I said 24 hours. I need 24 hours a day of attention from you to feel happy.
Yeah. That doesn't make sense, though. So let's just think about this logically.
Okay.
All right. So most people work 8 hours a day, or at least one spouse does. So you're not together those 8 hours, right? Maybe 9 or 10, depending on a commute and all of that kind of stuff. So let's just say 9 hours. We'll give them a half-hour commute, or if the 15-minute commute if they want to be there a few minutes early. So that's pretty conservative. 9 hours work. You've got between 7, 8 hours of sleep. You're not interacting there, right? So what are we down to?
I don't know. I really have it. I don't know.
You're not paying attention at all.
I thought you were going somewhere. I'm just listening.
Yeah, so we're having this conversation about this, thinking through the process.
Yeah, 9 hours.
How much legitimately per day you could spend.
I was making a joke when I said 24 hours.
I know you were, but we're talking about the study here.
Okay, so are you asking me what I actually think about myself?
Yeah, like what do you think a legitimate number would be?
I still think 47 minutes is too short.
Well, that's because we're not the normal couple, though. We literally do everything together, just about.
An hour, maybe? I don't know. Why 47 minutes? That's a weird...
I don't know. That's just what they found, apparently. But that was the conversation that got started. It's like, okay, how much do you think you literally need?
Yeah.
And that's kind of a question I want to throw out there to all of our listeners. How much time do you think you need from your spouse, their attention per day? So you're talking about not watching TV, not having our phones in our hand, but actual attention. I like what Paul Briggs said. He commented this. Is this 47 consecutive minutes, and does sleep time count? Asking for a friend.
So I don't necessarily think it has to be consecutive. Sleep doesn't count, but I think cuddling in front of the TV would count. Like if you're actually cuddling, like when I'm rubbing your back and we're watching something,
Sure.
I think that I'm giving you attention.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah.
It might not be like the highest quality.
But it has to be what counts for you. So like for some people that doesn't count.
It counts for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people that doesn't count. So I'm just curious what people think that actual time is. The comments seem to indicate that it definitely needs to be more time than that, but...
How much time do you want?
Me?
You're a little greedy. I think this number's going to be high.
I am pretty greedy. I would probably say a couple hours, maybe.
Yeah.
Couple hours of time.
You definitely want that. I do too, though. I want more.
So, pretty greedy about that.
Yeah. All right. Well...
But I know you're trying to jump in.
I'm jumping into the episode.
Not ready to jump in yet.
Okay, where are we jumping?
So tomorrow starts week 2 of Breaking the Cycle, our 8-week coaching course. And you say, well, we already missed week 1, so we're missing out. Listen, the replay is there.
Yep.
Right? So you can go back, you can fill out lesson 1, the worksheet, and follow along with that. You can watch the replay and jump right into week 2 before it starts tomorrow. So there's still time. Go to familymeeting.org/shop and start breaking the cycles in your life today. Session 1, I thought, was really helpful.
I enjoyed it.
It was, it's one of those things where most of it's kind of a bummer because you're exploring and identifying the bad habits and different things in your life that you don't necessarily want to talk about, recognize, or whatever. But we kind of ended after having some great conversation. We shared some information, had some great conversation with those who were on the call, and then kind of ended with a little thought about, listen, wherever you're at, it starts with figuring out what it is. But Christ can set you free.
Yes.
And so you were just at the beginning of this journey to be set free from these cycles in our lives. And so that means right now's the best time for you to jump in. So do that today. Stop whatever you're doing right now. familymeeting.org/shop. And you will see the group coaching call there for Breaking the Cycle. We'd love to see you on the call tomorrow night.
Sounds good. All right. Now am I jumping in?
All right. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
We're ready to get things. It's going to be a little emotional probably, but we're ready.
It's going to be a tough episode because it was a tough thing to go through. And for those of you who have done it, you understand that few parenting moments feel as bittersweet as dropping your child off at college. it's, that moment where years of raising and guiding and praying for your child kind of all come together in this new season of independence. And it's not just a season of independence for your child, but also for you as a parent, because now you're more independent too, because they're moving on. And letting go is definitely one of the hardest parts of parts of parenting that we've, I think, ever gone through. It was funny because years ago I would have said it was potty training.
Oh, yeah.
Potty training, it was my least favorite part of parenting. It just lasts for such a long time, and it's challenging.
Mine was making them stay in their toddler bed.
Yeah, but that was your job.
That was
potty
my
training
job.
was my job most of the time, for the most part. Yeah, so I guess that's
No,
why.
I wasn't around most of that time, so.
Yeah. So what would you say, honey? Would you say that dropping Isabella off at college was harder than keep making them stay in their toddler bed, like emotionally?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Yeah, because it's for different reasons, but it's just, for me, it's about just the finality that our family's not going to ever be what it was before.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part.
It'll never go back to that 6 of us moving and operating as a unit.
Yeah.
And we always did.
It's like, I'm super excited for her. I'm happy for her, and she's not far away. Like I said, she's coming home every single weekend. So at least for a minute or two, it's really not much because of her work schedule.
Right. Yeah, we don't see her much on weekends, even though she is in our town.
For a minute or two, we get to see her, but it's not any of that. It's the fact that we have turned this page, and it's like, even though I know this page turn has been coming for a long time since they were born, nothing has prepared me for it.
I agree. And really, that truly, I think, for most parents is one of the things that's hardest about letting go, is because when you take your first child or another child, it could be a younger child or the baby even, either way, it's going to mark the end of an era.
Yeah.
And you can't hear that phrase without hearing the Friends episode, can you? It's the end of an era.
I know what you're talking about, but I didn't think of that, no.
It's the end of an era. So you have spent 18 plus years nurturing, guiding, worrying, protecting, cheering, and loving on this child. And now you're stepping back. It's going to be different now. That daily hands-on chapter of parenting is closing. So it's not just your child's transition, it is your transition as well. And it's a tough one.
Well, and this is something we've talked about a lot on the episode on the podcast is, we have been taking short steps back for years, giving them more independence, more freedom, more opportunities for choice. And now it's literally like, hey, the baton's here. It's yours now. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to help you and whatever. But it's like a lot more of the help that we're going to give them kind of just depends more on them. And this is the thing about letting go. It feels so much like a loss. And it does this because, in a way, it is. It's a goodbye to a role that you've had for a long time in their life, a rhythm. So we've had certain ways that our family has moved and operated, and a shared space, like that. And that's one of the things that was probably hard for me, as a father. I kind of take my role to protect my family seriously. And so even though like she would come home late at night often, like I knew she was coming home and going to be under my roof and I could take care of her. And now, we don't have that shared space anymore. But within that letting go, you have this amazing shift that happens. And so we're moving kind of from one role to another role, which is difficult and takes some work, and there's some growing pains and all that come with it. But you're moving from a caretaker, and here we are for how many ever years we've been taking care of her, to more of a cheerleader. Mm-hmm. And cheering them on and being excited for what they have going on. From authority, Okay, so we're the ones who call the shots to make the rules and everything else. Now we move to trusted advisor, where they come and say, Dad, what do you think about this? Mom, what do you think I should do here? And this is the scary part, right? So letting go means trusting what you've instilled in them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the scary part, because it's like, well, did I do my job well?
Yeah, right.
And it's another reason why we ought to, whatever stage of parenting you're in, take it very seriously and use every opportunity we have, because eventually that day comes, and it comes a lot faster than you ever think that it will. And this is one of those things too that's hard. You talk about trusting that what you've instilled in them, but you're also trusting that they'll fall and get back up, that they'll make mistakes and they'll learn from it. Because they will fall, they will fail, they will make mistakes. We all do. And it's hard to watch your kids kind of go through that. But you're also trusting that they'll discover who they are, not just who you hoped they would be.
Yeah. And it really, there's this kind of spiritual side to walking away from them at that college dorm. It's like, it's this spiritual act of surrender. I mean, you are truly surrendering everything over to the Lord and just trusting in Him. And it's just a different and a new stage. It's the threshold of adulthood, and they're experiencing their adulthood, and you're experiencing letting go of their childhood and letting go of your role as a parent to something new. And it's very challenging, but it's a good reminder that they were never ours to begin with.
Yeah.
And when our kids were babies, and I remember being so terrified that they weren't going to make it through the night. Like, are they breathing? Are they breathing? I kept waking up to check and watch for their chest to go up and down. Okay, they're still breathing. They're still breathing. I guess they're all right. And when I put my baby for the first time in their own room to sleep through the night, I was so afraid. And I just prayed to the Lord, and I said, God, that baby in that other room is your baby. I give that baby to you, and I'm trusting you with her. And I feel like I had to do that again at different parts of life, different aspects of life. Like, one was when they drove for the first time by themselves in a car.
Yeah, that was pretty scary.
That was like a whole new, okay, Lord, this is your child. If they're going to get in a car accident, they're going to get in a car accident. I have no control. I give it to you. I just pass them to you, Lord. They're your child. And then having to do that again at college. And I'm sure that there were other periods of time throughout the seasons that I had to do that. But those three were like the main big moments for me.
Well, and it's just kind of a good reminder that we never really had control.
No.
Ever. Mm-mm. There's really no control over what happens to your kid. I mean, we like to pretend and set up parameters to make it feel like we have control, but there's so much that we don't have control over. That God is the only one who controls a person's time and days, and it's just this letting them go at each one of these stages, and now especially as we drop them off at college, it's another reminder that God, we never controlled in the first place, and they were never ours in the first place. You entrusted them to us for a short while. We're very grateful for it, but it is that reminder that they're His.
Yep,
not
we just
ours.
have to release them and trust Him with them.
And this is something that we've kind of been talking about and thinking about during this season leading up to it. We kind of dreaded it for months. Yeah. And then as it got closer and closer, this thought process of how to trust God with your child's future when you're no longer right beside them. It's one of those difficult challenges that I think we're still kind of work on. And so these are things that we're trying to remind ourselves of while we're passing along and reminding you of this as well. And I think the first thing is just to remember God's sovereignty. And I like this thought. God's care for your child doesn't depend on your proximity.
That is very reassuring.
Because we like to make sure that they're all drawn in close. But here's the thing: no matter how far they roam from us, they're never a farther distance away from God than if they're right with us. Mm-hmm. Like He's with them all the time. And I think of Psalm 121 verses 3 and 4 that says this: He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. And just the reminder, like I know who this was written to and why it was written, but it's just a reminder that God doesn't sleep, that He's always present, always watching, always guiding. Listen to this, parent. Even when you're not there, like He's there.
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things that I try to remind myself of during this season where we're letting our daughter spread her wings and go off to college is, hey, I may not be present with her as her father, but her heavenly Father is always present. And He can do a lot better job of protecting her and watching out for her than I ever could.
Right, He can. And one of I think the biggest comforts for me has been praying and being able to go to God with how scary this has all been and like the things that I'm afraid of that I know are no longer in my control. Not that they ever were, but I felt more in control. I can go to God now with those things, and He really has helped. And we need to be praying with intention and with confidence, because prayer really is the lifeline between your heart and God's power.
Yeah.
And where's your heart? Your heart's with your kids, right? I mean, unless you're an unnatural person, your heart is with your child. Mm-hmm. And we want to get to God's power, and prayer is the lifeline that connects. So commit your child's future to God daily. You know, it's a daily dependence on Him. And it makes me think of the Lord's Prayer when He says, give us this day our daily bread. Every single day we have to wake up and experience God's mercies that are new every morning. And we have to ask Him for the things that we need for this day to get through this day and the trials that I will face on this day. And sometimes each day is a little different. Like,
yeah.
It can surprise you where the emotions hit over some stupid little thing. Like, oh man, when we used to go get these ice cream cones, there was always a fourth kid, and now that kid is gone, you know, or whatever. And it can just pop up at you.
I mean, try to look at the bright side. It's one more ice cream cone for Dad.
Yeah. Whatever makes you happy.
Whatever consoles me.
Yeah. Okay. You're consoled in your ice cream cones.
Yeah. I'm eating this extra cone for you, baby.
Yeah. So what are the things, though, that you want to pray to God about? You want to pray, of course, about their safety, about their growth, the friendships that they will make. This was a huge concern of mine. What will the roommate be like? Will she be kind? Will she be a bad influence, a good influence on my daughter? Will she make friends? Will she be isolated? So friendships was a big prayer concern for me.
Which is kind of nice because Isabella seems to be getting along very well with her roommate.
Yeah.
So we're very happy for that, hearing that they've gone to meals and stuff together. So obviously it's still very early. A lot can happen, but it's kind of nice to know that right now God has answered that prayer for that whole roommate situation.
Well, and for those of you who don't know, because we're kind of talking to you like you know everything, and sometimes we just make assumptions about that. But if you follow us on social media, you know everything that's happening in our lives because we're very, very visible on social media. But if you don't, Isabella has been in school in Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida, which is 40 minutes from here, 45 minutes. And she has been there for 2 full weeks. This is, entering in the middle of her 3rd week.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with this, by the way. So it's still fresh, but we're kind of getting into the groove a little bit. So it probably is the perfect time to really be talking about this. But we're praying about their goals and their dreams. We're praying for wisdom. We're praying for them to get up to their alarm because nobody's there to say,
exactly.
You slept through your alarm,
Oh, she cracked me up the day. I was texting with her back and forth, just asking how classes went. And she's like, yeah, I forget what class it was, but she's like, yeah, I almost missed that class because I slept through my alarm. She's like, but I made it on time.
She got up
yeah,
naturally.
It's so funny.
Yeah, after she had slept through her alarm. But those are the kinds of things that commit to prayer. Like, don't sit around your house and just worry that they're going to sleep through their alarms. Don't worry that they're not going to do their homework or worry that they're going to be isolated. No, sit at home, and when you have those thoughts, turn them into prayers. Turn them into prayers. And I love Philippians 4:6 because of this. It says, do not be anxious about anything. Man, think about all the stuff you want to be anxious about your child who's in college.
Yeah.
So many things. It says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And so that's what we're being encouraged to do here in this verse, is to take those things that make us anxious, those things that come into our mind and cause worry and doubt and fear. And as they come into our mind, we take them and we change them into prayers, and they become beautiful prayers to God. And that's where the power is. The power is in his hands, because prayer isn't just asking, but it's trusting God is already working behind the scenes. He's already in there taking care of things. And you're just going to him and sharing your heart with him. And he cares about your child far more than you ever could anyway.
Well, and one of the things about this time period is, you know, you're going through this emotional roller coaster as a parent.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
You know, I think about anxiety and fear, you know, questions just kind of flooding your mind. And you talk about some of these things just a second ago, but I think about, will they be safe? First of all, will they make good choices? Right? Because, you know, you've kind of been trying to help them all along the way make some good choices, but now it's literally up to them. Like, you're no longer cooking their meals. So just think about, that's just one aspect of like health. Are you gonna make good choices as far as that concerned? Will they find their place? And worry can feel overwhelming because your protective instincts are wired deep. Like, it's a natural part that as you have this child, and I think especially for moms, but dads to a certain point as well, before the child's even born, like in the womb, it's like you begin to, those protective feelings. And I know, like, I was very protective of you even when you were pregnant, of like, hey, be careful what you're doing, like lifting and everything else. Why? Because that's kind of the way that we're wired. And now, you know, you're not around to do that anymore. So like you said, that worry can really take over. What are some of the other emotions that we can feel on this roller coaster ride?
So many. I feel like you could pretty much throw out an emotion and I'd be like, yup. But definitely sadness and to a certain extent, grief. Like, there's like a grief. I'm grieving the loss, grieving the change, grieving the change in the nest. We are not empty nesters. We have 3 kids at home, and I think we will for quite a while now. And no matter where you live if you live in the US, no matter what state you live in, I think most states are experiencing that, like, kids are not just moving out of their parents' house at 18 and able to buy a house. Like, that's just not the economy that we live in. So most of us are having our college age kids kind of hang out at home for a little while until they can save up for a house.
Well, even rent somewhere. But I saw this the other day, like, the average age of first-time homeowner used to be like 33. Now it's like 58.
What?
Yeah.
33 seemed high to me, but whoa, 58.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the housing market is just nuts. But even renting in a lot of places is absolutely just insane.
Right. Because like here, we have advised our kids strongly to stay in the nest, and it's not for our own selfishness.
Yeah, it's like, if you can stay home, save money, and have money to purchase a house when you're ready, like, that's great. But
so we are not experiencing the empty nest, but we are grieving the change.
Well, and even though it's not empty nest now, I mean, let's be honest. Our oldest is going to be 20 soon. Our youngest is going to be 15 in another month. So we are potentially very quickly going to move into that empty nest where it's just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So it's right there.
And things that, you know, you want to grieve a little bit and that kind of come up as grief is the quiet house. Like, there's the change in the activity in the home, daily routines that are shifting. Like, maybe you're not really cooking for very many people. It might just be cooking for you and your spouse now.
Well, I know for us, it's like the morning coffee time, where it used to be the 6 of us, you know, sitting around sharing what's going on with our day and stuff. And now it's like, oh, there's where's Isabella? Oh, there's 5 of us. Like, still sometimes doesn't hit me that she's actually gone.
Yeah. And that's where like grief, for me, it is grief. I think it's like grieving that loss of the difference now. But it's okay. It's just part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that the season has ended and now it's on for a new season. Here's some that could hit some people. I don't know that this is anything that I'm feeling, but I know a lot of parents do feel this way. And that is the idea of guilt and doubt, where you're thinking, did I do enough? Am I letting go too soon? And these thoughts can creep in, shaking your confidence as a parent. I would dare say that all of us as parents, if we're honest, could say, you know what, I could have done more. I could have been more present. I could have done better. And so depending upon, how things were and what's happened in your life while your child's growing up and the choices we've made, this one right here could be crippling for some parents as their child is stepping out, into the world on their own. So I could see how this right here could be one of those things that really could grab a hold of a parent depending on their situation.
Yeah, I don't feel a lot of guilt and doubt, but sometimes I do feel doubts like, okay, how much do I say right now? Like, I'm doubting how much I'm doing right now in this moment, which we are going to talk in a minute about, how to communicate now with your child who's kind of changed into this new season.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have doubts about like, okay, should I talk to her about that particular thing, or should I let her figure that out on her own?
Yeah.
So I do have a little bit of self-doubt in that aspect.
Yeah, and that's one of those things about stepping into a new season that we've not been in before, is like trying to navigate what are the right choices to make. And of course, as we mentioned, we might have mentioned this at the very end of the episode last week as we were talking about this, but it's like, this is a season, no matter what season you're parenting, like, you've never been there before.
Right.
And so we're in this season now where we've never been here before. And so you're right, though. That's a great thought, is like, okay, what about right now? Am I doing the right thing?
Yeah. Okay. So we kind of get that it's hard, right? I feel like we've established that the beginning of this episode has been a little heavy. And so we want to move a little bit away from that and kind of just talk about how can you process this season with grace. So what are some steps that you can take? You're feeling the grief, you're feeling the anxiety, you're feeling all these other things. One thing that you need to do is acknowledge your emotions. And I love this thought from Jenny Allen in her book, Untangling Your Emotions, because it talks about acknowledging your emotions and don't suppress them. Like, go ahead and give yourself permission to feel everything. Even if maybe some of what you feel is like relief. Okay, they're gone. We did it. We got a kid out of the house. Maybe you're feeling relief and you don't need to feel guilty for feeling relief. Whatever the feelings that you're feeling, give yourself permission to feel.
Well, and this is like, I'm just thinking about the kind of the days and stuff leading up to taking Isabella to college, and the whole time we're trying to suppress, at least I was, trying to suppress. And then of course we pull up on campus and I'm continuing trying to suppress. Like, I don't want to break down and weep in front of my daughter on this, what's supposed to be a very exciting day for her. So we go to get her registered, and she can get her keys to her, room and all of that, parking pass and all the stuff. And there's a lady there, and she's like, okay, parents, you go over this way and you get some water and some coffee and whatever else. And Isabella, you go upstairs and get yourself registered. So we walk over to this area that they've got reserved for parents with some refreshments and everything else. And I'm sitting there, and they are playing the saddest music. Yeah. And it's just like, I'm trying to hold it together. We took a selfie and posted on social media. Like, we try not to just post the highlights. It's like we try to post what's really going on. And so in that moment, we're like both like doing everything we can do not to just like, it's like, could you just play some happy music here?
But the sad music definitely contributed. Yeah. But I think that the reason, for me anyway, that was where I first really broke down and cried was because since getting onto the campus, it was the first time she wasn't with us. Like
Yeah.
we were separated. And so we like actually felt physically the difference. She was gone.
Yeah.
And it was just the stupidest thing because she was just upstairs, but still you could feel it. And so then all of a sudden I'm just like, this is real. It felt real for the first time. And that was why, I think for me anyway, that's why I broke down.
But there may be a portion of time where you do need to suppress it, but it is important to make sure you have that time where you can acknowledge and you can feel
Yeah.
like Lysandra's describing.
Yeah, find yourself a time when you can sit in your emotions. And sometimes I do this, and I don't know if this will help you, but I don't want to cry all the time, right? Like crying all the time is unpleasant. But I know I need to cry and I need to give myself space to cry. So what I try to do is I try to say like, okay, I'm really feeling this thing right now and I need to deal with these emotions, but I can't right now. So I know that tonight at 7:30 p.m., I'm done for the night. I don't have any other responsibilities. All the kids will be good, fed, whatever. I can let myself cry. So at 7:30, like the clock hits 7:30, I go to my room and I just start thinking about the things that are making me sad and I give myself space to cry. So give yourself some space.
So a little tip here, just give your spouse a little heads up.
Yeah.
So they're not like walking up on you trying to joke and everything else and then like, oh, this is something's happening.
Like, oops. Yeah.
We've done that before.
Yes. Yeah. You have done that before. Well, I rarely walk in on you just crying.
Yeah.
If ever. But things that can help you maybe is journaling, talking with a trusted friend or counselor, maybe talking with another parent who has gone through this before. We are always available. You can find us on social media and reach out to us. We love to hear from you. So if if you don't have someone in your circle that you can really talk with, that you trust, you can talk with us. Shoot us a message. The thing that you need to remember throughout all this is that emotions are natural and they are real. They are valid. It's not sinful for you to be emotional.
Yeah.
It's a normal part. You were created with emotions by an emotional God, and it's okay. And we're going to actually talk a little bit more about that next week, but we won't go into that too much. I'm already in my mind in the next episode, but
Yeah.
practice self-compassion. So you want to have compassion for everybody else, right? But so often we don't give ourselves that compassion. So just keep in mind, you're doing the best you can. You're doing just fine for you. Don't compare yourself to other parents or anything like that. Everybody feels things differently. And really let go of perfectionism. Don't expect yourself to be perfect. Expect you to be yourself. Be who you are and deal with this in your own time. If you need to compartmentalize a little bit so that you can really deal with your emotions, fine, but make sure that you're not just ignoring them.
Another part of this whole thing is creating new routines. So you have this shift that takes place where the old routines, in certain ways, have kind of been shaken up. Mm-hmm. So that shift can feel disorientating. And so what you need to do is establish new rhythms that fill your time and heart. Whether that's picking up a hobby, volunteering, reconnecting with friends, but find a way to shift from the old routine and the old pattern into a new routine and a new pattern that will help to feed your soul.
Yeah. Healthy routines. What's healthy, right? Not kind of escaping into television or escaping into alcohol or other things, like healthy routines that you can try to kind of fill that space. Because the truth is that there's space left now.
Yeah.
Like there is time that I used to give to that child, and I don't need to give that child that time anymore. They don't need it right now. So how can I shift that? Another thing that you really need to do, and we need to really do, is lean into our faith, lean into God, lean into things like prayer and meditation on scripture, and even reading affirmations and positive things, whether it's from scripture or just positive truths. That can really offer that comfort and support that we need. It can give us perspectives, a new perspective, a more realistic perspective during uncertain moments, because there are times when it's like, I have no purpose. And we want to start to say, like, we spiral, right?
Yeah.
It's like, they're gone now and I have no purpose. And what am I even here for? And whoa, wait a minute. No, that's not true.
Yeah.
What are truths? Like, you have a purpose. God has a plan for you. What is the plan in this season? And then also as you go along this remember to celebrate these milestones. Celebrate with something that you can do. So, of course, we have graduation ceremonies and we have graduation parties when they graduate high school.
Yeah.
And then we have move-in day, and we tried to make it really special with like starting it off. We started off the move-in day with coffee with the 6 of us. It happened to land on a family day. So we kind of had a mini family morning. We took a walk around the lake and laughed and goofed and cut up and had such a great time. Then we dropped off, you know, the 3 girls, and we, me and Isabella rode in her car. Oh no, in my van. You drove the one that was packed, right?
Yep, I drove the.
You drove the packed
yep.
one. And we headed up to St. Augustine, and we had a nice breakfast together, and then, you know, kind of wasted a little bit of time walking around campus until it was time for her to go and get her keys and her parking pass and everything. And we just tried to make the day special. So what can you do to celebrate the milestones? What kind of ritual can you kind of bring into this that makes it special?
Well, and I think even leading up to it, like you guys went and did shopping, whether in person or online. You talked about the dorm and the things that she would need, and
how did she want to decorate?
Spent some time planning all of that, even leading up to it. So, you know, we kind of set the pattern for those kids of ours who choose to go to school. Is like, okay, these are some things we want to do, and some special things that we can do to kind of step into this new reality of what our family looks like. Right,
because you want to honor what's ending.
Yeah.
And you also want to celebrate what's beginning.
Yeah, you don't want it to be like a hold downer, and then you put a lot of like pressure and, you know, whatever on your kid who feels bad that they're moving away, when like this is a natural part of life that should be exciting for them.
And it's really weird because Isabella, I know, and I'm speaking for her here. She didn't say this, but I'm speaking for her. So take it for what it's worth. But I know that she expected us to be sad. And I'm pretty sure that if neither of us were sad, she would have been highly offended.
Yeah, I think so.
And I wouldn't blame her. I would feel the same way. Like my parents cried when they drove away, leaving me in Pensacola, Florida after we got married. And that made me feel special. Like, sorry, Mom and Dad, but it did, right?
Yeah.
And so I know Isabella felt so special that we were sad, but yet we wouldn't want that to be like the overwhelming, like this is the focus of the day, Mom and Dad are sad.
Yeah.
So there's some sort of a weird little balance that has to take place there where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you, but I'm so sad for me. And it's a weird little balance that you have to think about.
Yeah, and so one of the things that we want to talk about is we kind of get and move along towards the last half of this episode is practical ways to stay connected without controlling.
Yeah, this is tricky because you've never done this before.
Right. And so you don't want to get to a point where your child has gone off to college, but you're texting them or calling them 86 times a day. It's like there's a super popular documentary out right now called Unknown Number. And
it's such an interesting documentary and such a sickening story.
Like we could do a whole maybe episode just on that. But no spoiler. I won't give a spoiler if you've not heard the story, but a real story that happened. But these kids get texts like 70, 80 times a day. Like somebody's sitting there for 8 hours basically texting them. And you don't want to be that parent, right? And so I know the person in the documentary who was sending the text, so I could see their face right now and be like, that's not the person you want to be when it comes to your child while they're away at college.
No.
Don't get a random number generator and start texting your kid 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And that's hard because you have all these emotions that we just talked through. Like you want to be able to protect them. You want to know what's going on. You want to be a help. And so you've got to figure out what does that look like?
Yeah. How do you know how many times to text them or how often to call them or how often they want to visit? Like, how do you even know?
Yeah. So part of that is having a conversation with them is like, okay, let's set a communication rhythm together. Ask your child what kind of contact works best for them. So whether it's daily text, weekly calls, occasional check-ins, like what does it look like for them? And this is one of those things that I think is important when we talk about this is if you reach out to your child that's at college and they don't reach right back out, like, that's okay. Whatever's going on in their life, they have things going on, class and work and whatever else, all the college life stuff. Like, don't assume the worst. Just wait for them to get back to you.
So we have friends who they had an only child, and it was a boy, and that boy went off to college out of state in a big city. And of course, mom was just so nervous, and they had a deal in communication. They said, we will leave you alone, but you have to call us every Saturday night and tell us you're okay. We have to know you're okay. And so every Saturday night, that phone call would come in, and the mom was so excited, and she would be like, hello, hello. And it would be him, and he'd say, I'm okay, mom, bye. And he'd hang up the phone. And it hurt her feelings so bad. Like, she was thankful that he was okay, and she was like on pins and needles till she got that call each week. But it hurt her feelings because she felt like he doesn't want to like talk or ask how I am or, talk to dad or whatever. And finally, he was quite a bit older, and he shared with her, he said, yeah, mom, the reason that I did that was because I was so homesick, I could barely hold it together. And every time I talked to you guys or thought about home, it was killing me. And so it was my way of surviving college. And it was just interesting to hear that perspective. So she shared that with me right around the time we took Isabel up to college. And I was like, wow, that's so interesting. Like, she thought he didn't care about home, didn't miss them, whatever. And sure enough, he's just trying to survive. So I think it's really important to talk to them about how much communication is going to happen and the best way to communicate.
Yeah. And so, agreeing on that communication rhythm respects their space and keeps the connection open with them. Like, you want them to know, hey, I want to hear from you. I want to talk to you. I want to be a part of your life. I think when we're talking about communication also and staying connected without control, we have to make this shift. Now, hopefully, as they're kind of getting to be older teenagers, you've been working to make this shift. But if not, this is where the big shift is going to happen, where you have to listen more and advise less.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. When you get the text or the phone call or you're able to go visit them, they come to visit you, when they share, focus on listening deeply rather than jumping in with solutions. Because as a parent, we naturally want to jump in with solutions. Mm-hmm. As a husband, when Lysandra talks to me and shares issues and problems, my natural tendency is to jump in with solutions. But this is not the case. You have to earn that, right? And you're working in now where they're becoming independent. They're an adult. They are stepping out on their own, and they've got to learn how to do that. And the thing is, when they want your help and they need your help, if you've shown that, hey, I'm listening, then they're going to ask you for that help. And it's a nice thing to be able to jump in and help when they need help and when they ask for help.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I still have Isabella texting me, and she'll screenshot conversations with her boss or whatever and just be like, what should I do? What do you think I should say? And that always means so much to me because she wouldn't have to do that at all. Honestly, I think she has the tools and the capability to answer exactly how she should anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say 99.9% of the time, after I tell her my opinion, she says, that's what I was going to say. Or that's what I thought, but I didn't know for sure, or whatever. And so it is really special when they'll let you in on that.
Yeah. So making sure that, hey, you respect whatever the communication rhythm, and if they choose to like reach out more, great.
Yeah.
But don't become that overbearing parent that is like trying to contact them every couple of minutes of the day.
Give them a little space. And if you are having struggles with your communication when you do talk to them, try shifting your questions to open-ended questions. So like if you text and you say, how were classes today? An easy answer is fine, right? But maybe you could change and say something to the effect of, what was the best part of your day today? Or what are you learning about yourself this semester? So these are ways to invite more meaningful conversations without a lot of pressure. Another thing as you're learning to communicate in this new capacity is share your own life stories, your own vulnerabilities. Maybe open up about your day and they'll feel more comfortable to open up about theirs. If you are having a struggle, don't be afraid to tell them. Like my kids, they're really good about asking me how I'm doing, which I really appreciate. And they'll say like, "Hey, how did you have a good day, Mom?" And so if I had a struggle, I'm going to tell them like, "No, I really struggled today because I was really tired, but I had to push through work," or whatever it might be. But share those things with them, and this is going to model honest connection and communication. And it shows that this is a two-way relationship. This is not the hero mom who has everything together and is completely perfect, listening to your tragic stories and coming in, swooping and being the hero and saving you. No, I have issues too, and we're in this together. So honest communication is a good key.
And we kind of touched on this just a little bit ago, but I really want to make sure that it's emphasized clearly here, and that is respect their boundaries. If they don't want to talk about something or they need space, honor that without pushing. And I know that's hard because if you can, especially when you sense like it feels like there's something wrong, and you want to help and you want to be there for them, but they don't want to talk about it. You need to learn how to respect that. Let them know you're available when they're ready, if they're ready. If you ever want to talk about it, like I'm here. And so respecting those boundaries, I think, is good. And in a similar vein, use technology thoughtfully. So we talked about kind of communication rhythms, but be thoughtful, okay? So send occasional text, photos, memes that show you're thinking of them without expecting an immediate response.
Yeah. We like to send a selfie and be like, wish you were here with us. Something simple like that. Gives them a picture of mom and dad and also just shows them like we're thinking about you.
Or we'll send memes back and forth a lot of times. Oh, yeah. She'll send me
reels
and stuff on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I told her, I'm like, listen, if you're sharing something with me on Instagram, you have to text it to me because I don't open Instagram and look at messages.
Okay, so, Grandpa.
Yeah, totally. So
yeah. And I will open my Instagram. Like I'll get reels from all three of the older three, and I get them on Instagram, and we go back and forth with it. But for Dad, you got to text.
Exactly, but it keeps the connection light and loving.
Yeah, it creates like a friendship.
So and that's the role we're kind of moving into, is more of a friendship, more of a coach, like coming alongside of them, and so it's not all about just being serious and all that all the time.
Yes. Okay. Now, we need to wrap this up, but we cannot wrap it up without talking about this because this has been a lifeline of mine. First and foremost, my relationship with God has been my lifeline. That has been what has gotten me through this. Second to that is my relationship with Thomas, my husband. And you need to rediscover your marriage as a partnership and rebuild your connection with your spouse because the kids are leaving. The kids are going to be gone. And when they're gone, you might not have anything. And there have been times where like, even now, so we don't have an empty nest, but we have two that go off to volleyball. We have one that goes to work. We have one that goes to school. And there are times when it is empty in our home. Like not empty nest, so to speak, but we have empty moments in our nest. And when that happens, we fall into each other.
Yeah.
And we lean on this relationship. And if we were not as close as we are, this would be so much harder. So if you have littles, work on your relationship, invest in your marriage. Don't make your life all about those beautiful kids, even though they are beautiful and wonderful.
Yeah.
You've got to invest in your marriage.
Well, and I was chatting with the chaplain of Palm Coast Fire Department. I'm the chaplain for Flagler County. And so we were kind of just talking together. He's got a daughter named Isabella. We have a daughter named Isabella, and both of our Isabellas, we just took off to Flagler College together.
First year.
And so one of the things that he was talking to me about, they're not in an empty nest yet. They've got another son at home, I believe, who's around Violet's age, I think. But he was talking about how even now, like, he is emphasizing his relationship with his wife because he knows, just like Lysandra's talking about, pretty soon it's just going to be them two, and we don't want to be strangers. staring at each other across the house like, who are you?
Yeah. So, of course, I feel like this is going to be elementary, my dear Watson, but plan date nights, okay? Date nights are so simple and yet so profound. So get a date night, go into some deep conversations, not just the trivial, although you need to be talking about the trivial, but also deep conversations and having rituals together. Now, we have morning coffee together. That's our family meeting time, is mornings. It's usually 7 a.m. every morning. And if you can do that, fantastic. And your morning coffee time may look different each morning, or each year. One less kid, one less kid, one less kid. Because for us, we had stair steps. But
yeah.
Find some rituals that you can implement in your relationship together that are going to give you some joy.
And then you need to communicate openly. So you have to share your feelings about this new phase. We all, even the hardest of us, the most hard-hearted of us, we've got feelings about what this new phase looks like. Mm-hmm. And it's typically normal to feel a mix of emotions, right? Relief, loss, excitement, uncertainty. And make sure you're sharing those feelings with your spouse, keeping them up to date on what's going on. You shouldn't walk around the corner and be surprised that your wife or your husband, because there are some guys that are criers, and that's okay. Oh, yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
But you shouldn't walk around the corner and see them weeping, having no clue what's like. I didn't even know you were still upset about our daughter leaving. But being honest keeps you close. So you having that open communication. And then this is something to think about as well, because you're in a new season, and I think it's important to create new shared goals together. So you hopefully have shared goals and have had shared goals along in your marriage and your life together. But new season now, what do those new goals look like? Whether it's travel, hobbies, volunteering, finding common passions that breathe new life into your relationship. But maybe it's okay, our daughter's out of the house, we're spending less money on that. So maybe we want a financial goal of hey, let's pay off the house, or let's buy this new investment property, or just thinking about, but having that goal to help you work together on can create that closeness as well.
Right. And redefine family roles, because even though you need to be investing in your own marriage relationship, you need to together be interacting with your adult children and figuring out how to do that.
Yeah.
So kind of working together on that, and that takes a lot of communication. So make sure that you are communicating. And
along that line of kind of redefining, as Lysandra talked about, the roles and traditions, maybe create new traditions. What do holidays look like? Birthdays, special moments in ways that honor this stage. So you probably are not going to be able to celebrate those things the exact same way that you used to. And maybe you have to have smaller gatherings or new activities. It's gonna look different. And we talked about this when we just recently, when we were talking about family vacations and just Christmas trips and things like that. Because we understand, especially our two older girls, you've got work and you've got school and you've got things going on. We want you to come. You're always invited. We'll always pay for you. But you have to let us know. So we have to communicate the dates. Hey, we just did this the other day on Friday. Said, hey, this is the dates that we're going to go on family vacation. You need to let us know if you are able to make it or not. And so, but it's going to look different.
That's right. And then make sure that you are deepening your faith together as a couple. Pray together, meditate on scriptures that are going to help you get through this together as a couple. Attend church together. Study the scripture with your spouse. We've got the 31 days through the book of Proverbs that you can go through with your spouse to have a little bit of more time to really get closer to each other and closer with the Lord. You can volunteer together, serve in your church or your community. Maybe you can figure out a way to mentor some other families or leading a connection group in your church. What can you do now that your time is shifted with your child being gone or multiple children being gone? Because when you give back, it often renews your purpose. Like you start to feel good again. When you give and you invest in other people's lives, you feel better. So take some time to do that.
Well, and it's just, there's something about helping others and investing in others that takes the focus off of yourself and the bad things you have going on in your life. And so, yes, you ought to be working on that spiritual stuff together. I think also is just spending time to work on yourself, your own personal growth.
Yeah.
We talked about spiritually, but I think just who you are as a person as well. Like this is a great opportunity for you to think about who you want to be moving forward. Like, do you want to finish school? Do you want to start a new career? Like, it's never too late to reinvent yourself.
Yeah, and if you're in your 40s or 50s, because that's typically the ages when you're saying goodbye to your kids as they go into college. Although, side note, one of our daughter's teaching advisors from FLVS, from their homeschooling that they do, he is 50 years old with a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, I don't think I made any noise because it was a phone call, but I was like, my mouth dropped. I was like,
this dude's going to be an empty nester at 70.
Yeah, exactly. But whatever your age is, I like what you're saying, is invent yourself. Like, you still have a whole nother life to live. Like, man, you've got plenty of time.
Yep.
Do something new.
You can take some time to figure out what do you want that to look like? Like, who do I want to be and what do I want to do in this next segment of my life?
Yeah, and I think that affects moms typically more than dads. Obviously, there's exceptions to every rule. But I was just having a conversation with a mom who has a junior, like a freshman and a junior in high school. And she's saying, like, I'm starting to think about my next season and what do I want it to look like for me? Because for her, she's given the last 15, 16 years of her entire life to these children.
Yeah.
Like, she has not worked. She has not continued any more of her education. She has not pursued anything besides raising these children. Now who am I?
Yeah.
Because that can't be my entire identity. It can be my purpose for a time, but then what's my new purpose? And I thought that was really cool that she was already kind of looking that direction and thinking about getting into some classes and things to decide which direction she wanted to go. But just remember that this season is not only about loss. Yes, there's loss to acknowledge and grief.
Yeah.
But it's also a beautiful invitation to reimagine marriage and family and faith. So discovering these fresh rhythms and leaning into these new things can be an awesome opportunity on your journey and open some new doors. So whether you're preparing to send a child to college soon, or you simply just want to understand what this transition feels like, or you've gone through it recently, we want to encourage you that you're going to make it and that this season is going to be an awesome season for you. Okay? And maybe you need a little more on this topic. For those of you who want to dig a little deeper, we have a bonus resource that is called Prayers for Parents, Sending Kids to College. So if that would be a bonus resource that would help you, let us know. You can email us at info@familymeeting.org, and we will send that off to you.
And so family meeting tonight, you're going to look a couple different ways here. First of all, you're going to have a family meeting with your spouse and just talk about that time. And what does it look like? For some of you, you've got some time, you've got some years before you send a kid off to school or before they leave the nest. But hey, what do we need to be doing now to get ourselves ready for that? What do we want to make sure our children know? But if you're right there on the door, you've just done that, it's time to have a little bit of a check-in. Like, how are you doing with this? How are you feeling? And just kind of processing this time together and thinking about, hey, what are the new rhythms we want to establish? What do we want our marriage to look like going forward? Our goals, our life together. And then having a conversation with your child who's left the nest or who's leaving the nest and talking over some of these things about boundaries and communication rhythms and some of these other things so that when the time comes, it'll be the best possible situation that it can be for you and for your child.
Thank you for joining us today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
And we want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting as we discuss being emotionally mature. So we're really going to talk about the difference between emotional maturity and emotional integrity. So what we're really looking at is expressing emotions in a God-honoring way. And this, I think, is going to be, our episode today is a great jumping off point for that because there's so much emotion involved with this. But no matter what stage of parenting you're in or what stage you're in your relationship with your spouse, there's emotions. There's emotions there.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about emotional maturity versus emotional integrity next week.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.
Share with us your experience of dropping your kids off at college. We want to hear from you. Maybe you haven't done it yet, but you're already afraid of it. I know I was fearing it from when they were babies, I'm telling you. So just share with us kind of where you're at in the process, what you're dealing with, what you're feeling. We want to hear from you. We always value your opinion and thoughts. So thanks for joining us this week. We will see you next week as we talk about emotional integrity and emotional maturity. See you then.